Will the Detroit Lions reunite with the Smith brothers? Preston Smith is who we will be talking about in today's video. Now, Preston Smith, the former teammate of our defensive end right now, Zadarius Smith, was the former teammate of Zadarius Smith on the Packers. Now, Preston Smith has arguably been better throughout Zadarius Smith's career. Doesn't have quite the talent that Zadarius Smith has, but in terms of production, he's arguably been better. And this would be a great under the radar signing if the Lions did this, in my opinion. And we need to target him for sure. Now, it doesn't, I believe he is, let's see here, 24, 25. Let's see, 24 plus 8 is 32. So he's around, I think, 32 or 33 years old. I believe he's 32. Preston Smith was drafted in the second round back in 2015, 38th overall by the Washington Commanders. Played at Missouri State, I believe is what that is. I don't even know if I'm correct on there. Had 4.5 sacks this past season. That is very underwhelming for Preston Smith. As you will see throughout the stats here, he averages very consistent. He averages around 8 to 9 sacks a season. Look at all this. Throughout his whole career, averages around 8 to 9 sacks a year. His first year with the Commanders, played every single game. Really good year. 8 sacks, 4 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery, especially for a second-round pick. 2016, played every single game again. 4.5 sacks and an interception, along with 3 passes deflected. 2017, again, every single game. 8 sacks, forced fumble, fumble recovery, 2 picks. 2018, played every single game. 4 sacks, fumble recovery, interception. Looks like he can get interceptions too. 2019, I believe he signed with the Packers. I don't think he got traded. I believe he signed there. Played every single game. 12 sacks. This is his best career year. 12 sacks, forced fumble, and an interception. 2020, played every single game. 4 sacks, fumble recovery. 3 passes deflected. 2021, missed 1 game. 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, fumble recovery. 2 passes deflected. 2022, played every single game. 8.5 sacks, forced fumble, pass deflected. 2023, played every single game. 8 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 passes deflected. 2024, 9 games played with the Packers, 2.5 sacks. Then he got traded to Pittsburgh at the deadline, and he was a guy I thought that was maybe going to get traded at the deadline, but nobody, and I mean nobody, thought he was going to get traded. Nobody was bringing him up at the deadline. I don't know if I even brought him up on the YouTube channel, but in my head I'm like, maybe there's a slight chance we can get a guy like Preston Smith. Hadn't really done much for the Packers. He's got a lot of cap under him that the Packers want to get rid of. Why don't we make an attempt to get Preston Smith for about a 4th, 5th round pick, you know? He did getting traded, which nobody expected besides potentially me, where he did play every single game through on with the Steelers, played 8 games there, 2 sacks. So total this past season only had 4.5. So again, you look at his stats. What is the one thing that stands out besides he averages 8 to 9 sacks a season? He is extremely healthy. That is not like what Brad Holmes targets usually. He has only missed, I believe, 1 game in his NFL career back in 2021 when they switched to the 17-game season. You're going to say, well, what about here? Only 9 games and 8 games played. They were both in 2024 when he got traded from the Packers, where he ended up with 4.5 sacks. So he's only missed 1 game throughout his NFL career, and his, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In his 10 career seasons, he has only missed 1 career game. So if I'm Brad Holmes, this is a guy you absolutely have to target. Now, Preston Smith, I believe, is only one of the first guys on this free agency profiles that we've been doing throughout this free agency that does not have a market value. Preston Smith does not have a market value. So what I project Preston Smith to get, 32 years old, he'll get you 8 to 9 sacks usually. He just had a down year this past season, but still pretty solid. He'll probably get around 6, 7, probably a little bit more than that. He'll probably get around $8, $9 million, probably around the same amount that I expect Chase Young to get. So if you can get him for that, I think he's a low risk, high reward signing. You can pair him back up with Zadarius Smith. If hopefully he gets you the 8 to 9 sacks like he usually gets, and then it's 100% worth it. So you pay him $1 million per sack, worth it 100%. So leave thoughts, comments down below. One Pride, go Lions. We got more defensive ends to go, and keep in mind, I don't think I've said it. Rest of the free agency profiles that I will be doing will be free agents that are not on the Detroit Lions are all going to be defensive ends. I will be not talking any other position on free agency profiles after this of any other position besides the defensive end position because we need help with the defensive end position. But as always, one pride and go Lions.